Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Monday, May 22nd, 2017. It's a beautiful day in Washington State, man. We have looked at the forecast this week, and we're going to be mid to upper 60s all the way up into the 80s this week, and for this time of the year, it's very, very welcome. Very welcoming to this area. We welcome it, but at the same time, we've had a long winter and pretty wet spring from what I recall, and so it's just at the time of the year where things change. For us Washingtonians, we got to take out the AC unit that we have. We don't necessarily all have centralized air, but for those of us who just have the upstairs rooms that get a little warm in the summertime and make sleeping a little bit more difficult when it's really hot, and especially with the kids in the room, man, you gotta make it comfortable for them. So it's time of the year that open the windows, pull out the screens, put in the AC units, put the window back down, hold it back in, and turn that on. It'll be on maybe 5 days out of the summer. Just kidding. It'll be on more often than that. I think that's from the Farmer's Almanac this year. They actually said it's going to be a hot summer. And that makes sense because this winter was pretty tough. We had a lot of very good snowpack, and so those are the people that are hiking out in the mountains will notice that there's a lot of snowpack. A lot of the trails are going to have snow and melting snow and running water off the hills and the mountains for a while, which is good. Like I do the enchantment hikes out in Leavenworth in the Wenatchee area, and that hike I've done, it's like 18 miles, about 20 something if you actually walk it, because you're actually walking in diagonals and jags, zigzags all the way over, so you're not exactly walking a straight line. So it's about 21 miles. And that trail is really tough to do during as a through hike in one day, but it's totally possible, and it you have to really prepare your body for it. But that hike itself, for the last 2 years, I've noticed that I did it the 3 years ago, and in the summertime it was fine. There's water everywhere. The lakes were full all the way up to the level you can see that they're usually full to. But the last 2 years that I've done it, that particularly Snow Lake has been easily, like 20-30 yards less water. I can't tell you how many feet that is, but it's just there's a lot less snow runoff, and we've had pretty dry or pretty warm winters where we didn't really get any snowpack, and it affects everything. And I like to go to these beautiful, pristine mountain lakes and see the water, and if it's hot enough in the day, I want to jump in. Couldn't do it last year. Couldn't do it the last 2 years because the water was so far out, and then it was just you couldn't get to the really good deep stuff without having to walk out really far. And then when you're trying to do 21 miles in one day, every minute kind of counts, and so you can't really run around doing photography or run around trying to jump into the lake or something like that by forging through mud and all that. But it's gonna be a hot week, and so I'm looking forward to the weather. I actually did take my camera with me to Eastern Washington this weekend. We went out to the Yakima area, and I got a lot of good shots, and I'm really excited about. I also had a stamp that I created that allows me to put my name in the corner of the photos, so people can't duplicate them. I have had people use my photographs before, and they give me credit for it and permission. They take it and they post it and they tag me in it. But at the same time, it's not like a lot of people, I've noticed that they do these share accounts where they take other people's photos and they post them for themselves, giving them full credit in the body of the the text or the text area of the Instagram account, but they don't see it on the photo. So if they see it on the photo, hey, it's me, and then they know that the guy who has the account is not his. So it also gives me more of control because you can't edit that stuff off very easily. So I've been working on that. I have that done. I have my stamp, which I've been wanting to perfect and get done for a while now, because I do have an ultimate goal for my photography, and it's my dream is to wake up one day and, whenever I really want to, and have someone say, I need you to go off and take these photographs for me, and here's a check to do it. I would love to do that because it would allow me to control my schedule. It would allow me to pursue my passions in the outdoors and take photographs however I want and just get the best ones. I have had quite a few requests actually lately of people asking me to do people's senior photos, a wedding, and family pictures. And I did a little bit of practice on that this weekend. It's a little more difficult than nature photography and landscape photography simply because of the fact that mountains don't move and kids do and families do. And I just haven't had, when I thought about photography, I never really thought about photographing people. Just because it's just, my passion is the outdoors. That's where it is. And so I love doing that. So that's where I want to do the photography, is specialized in nature, landscape stuff. I'm not going to go into my full plan, but that's generally where I want to go. So, yeah, I got a lot of practice on that this weekend, and I had a lot of really good shots come out. So I'm excited about getting a chance to put those out and see how they're received. And yeah, my time and my name stamp done, so that's done. So I'm excited. So other than that, though, this week I hear that I don't know the specifics on it, but Chris Cornell will be buried this week down in Los Angeles. Kind of think that if your home's in Seattle, you want to get buried in Seattle. But then again, he's lived a large portion of his life down in LA. But up here in Seattle, Seattle's the kind of place that you can leave like Ken Griffey Jr. did and come back and still be well received. I think Seattle's one of those cities that really there's a lot of sports towns that will boo their teams and will boo the players and give them a lot of crap because they have a history and an expectation of winning all the time. In Seattle, we're just happy to have teams. Yeah, the Seahawks are our winning team and they win often and they got a really good structure going. Great central group of players from Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Russell Wilson, and for a number of years it was Marshawn Lynch, and we have Bobby Wagner. So we have a strong centralized group of Doug Baldwin group of players that we have that have been around for a while, and so it keeps on that culture of winning. So we have an expectation slightly from the football team, and if they were to play a year and go 6-10, I think the fans would respond in a way, but not booing and putting on bags on their heads. And Seattle's had a really good sense of love and appreciation for anything that we get, and our expectations aren't very high. It's just the sad nature of it, but I would love to get a basketball team back. I would love to get, the Mariners. I said that at the preseason, before spring training, that their expectations were Mariners were put together really well, and I thought they were going to be playing top-notch baseball and be at least in competition for first with the Astros and or Rangers. And sadly, it's just been a year plagued with injuries, and they're producing in the ways that they haven't produced before, which is getting on base, stealing bases, getting runs, getting on base, and scoring as often as possible. And they're doing it in ways that they haven't been able to do it in the past, and it hasn't really yielded the results that I would have expected at this point. It's hard to do that when you have guys going out and pitching every night that are in AA and AAA and will probably never reach the majors, but they're kind of forced into the majors because of injury. And we just got Mitch Haniger out, Robinson Cano is out, and people are slumping, and it's just not looking good all around at this time. And it's kind of hopefully start getting Felix back, Paxton back, Smiley. Hopefully we can see him this year. We got Cishak back. He's had his struggles already right off the bat. Diaz has got control problems. It's just been a tough year to be a Mariner fan, and it's having expectations and not meeting them is one thing, but when you're used to just not really being in the mix, it's another. So I think we're destined for a few more years of this kind of a struggle, but we'll see how it plays out. So anyway, hope you guys have a great Monday. Maybe do another video tonight. We'll definitely do one tomorrow. So hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later, and enjoy the weather.